Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Rugby League video. My name is Cody, and today I am here to give you my part 2 of the 2024 NRL tips. Now, if you didn't see last week we only did the 2 Vegas games for the tips, and obviously got both of them wrong. We lost 36-24 to Manly, and as Broncos lost to the Roosters, 20 points to 10. Both games were extraordinary, no doubt, but I reckon the first game was the better of the two. Roosters weren't very convincing against the Broncos. I mean, yeah, Broncos still coming off the grand final loss, but still new surface. Could have played it for them, but anyway, it's over and done with. Vegas was a success, but we're not here to talk about Vegas. We're here to discuss the remaining 6 games of round 1. Now, going forward, I will be shifting my tipping videos to Mondays rather than Tuesdays, because it's just going to be a lot easier, and I'll do my Super League tip videos for Tuesdays, and for tomorrow I'll do a Super League video on the Wednesday. But anyways, so far we are 0-2 for round 1. Hopefully we can get at least 2 games correct this week. I'll be happy with that. Anyways, speaking of tips, if you haven't joined yet, I also am running a 2024 NRL tipping comp for my channel. If you guys would like to join, I will have a image here on the screen of where you can join. You can join. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. But yes, so I'm running a NRL tipping comp for the channel this year. If you guys would like to join, you can join via 2 ways. You can join via my community page. So go to the community tab on my YouTube channel. You will have the link and the code for it there. Or the other option is I will post the link in the description box below along with the code, so you guys can join that way. Go into the link via one of those ways. We'll give you the code as well, and I hope you guys can join. Thank you to everyone who has joined in the comp so far, and we're going to have an excellent year this year in regard to the tipping. But this will be the last time I'll be reminding you guys about it. So if you guys would like to join today, this will be the final time I'll be letting you guys know. So anyways, I will have this posted and in the description once the video is done. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into round 1 of the NRL tips. And the first game that is kicking off here in Australia, game 3 of round 1 really, but the opening game in Australia. It is the elimination final rematch from last year. It is the Newcastle Knights taking on the Canberra Raiders. Now, last time these two played, we had a masterpiece of an elimination final. The Knights just winning by 2 points to go through and to play against the Warriors, who slaughtered them in that semi-final match the following week. But both teams made the top 8 last year. Raiders just managed to stay in the top 8, and as for the Knights, coming off a 10-game winning streak to make the top 8. Who would have thought? But going to 2024, both teams are in different scenarios. Now, I believe Raiders are not going to be doing that good this year, and as for the Knights, I reckon they will be around the finish in the top 8, but they could drop off as well like the Raiders. But hopefully, who knows what will happen. But before we get into the team list, we'll just go through some head-to-head. So in the last 10 games between these two, the Knights have won 7 of the past 10, which includes winning the last 3 straight. So the Raiders have not won since 2022, and the last time these two played up in Newcastle, not counting the elimination final, was on the 26th of March last year, where the Knights beat the Raiders 24-14, and as last time they played, obviously, in the elimination final match, Knights won 30 points to 28. Now we'll go through the team list and see who is playing where. Alright, so I will go through the team list for both teams. I'll start with the home side, the Knights, and then I'll start with the Raiders right after. So for the Knights side, fullback captain is Kalen Ponga. Your wingers are Alan Talula and Greg Marzil. Your centres are Dane Gagai and Bradman Best. Your halves are Tyson Gamble and Jackson Hastings. The props, we have Jacob Safidi and Leo Thompson. Phoenix Crossland is the hooker. Tyson Frisell and Dylan Lucas are your back row. Adam Elliott is the number 13. On the bench, we have the new recruit Jack Cogger making his club debut for the Knights. He was at the Panthers. Daniel Safidi, Jack Henrington, and new recruiters will Kai Pierce-Paul, all on the bench for the Knights. And for the reserves, we have new recruit from the Rabbits, Jed Cartwright, Thomas Jenkins, Will Price, Brody Jones, and Thomas Cant for the Knights team. So not a bad one for the Knights. And as for the Raiders, Jordan Rapana is your fullback. Nick Kodrick and Xavier Savage are the wingers. Matthew Tomako and Albert Hopewade are your centres. Ethan Strange is in the half, so interesting choice there by the Raiders. Jamal Fogarty is also the halfback. Josh Papali'i and Joseph Tarpany are your props. Danny Levi is the hooker. Hudson Young and Zach Hosking are your back row. Morgan Smites, I think that's how you pronounce his name, making his NRL debut in the starting lock position. On the bench, we have Tom Starling, Emma Gula, Atam Moriata, and Palasama Solo rounds up your bench. And on the reserves list, your 18th man and new recruit KO Weeks, Simi Sasagali, Zach Warford, James Shula, and Train Marnie are your reserves. So that is both of the teams. I reckon Knights have the stronger side then. Now going through from few stats here. Knights have won 6 of the past 8 games against the Raiders. Raiders have lost their last 4 away games. Greg Marshall has scored 15 tries in his past 14 NRL games. The Raiders have only claimed one round 1 victory in 4 of the past 5 seasons. And also the Knights have won their past 6 straight games at McDonald Jones Stadium. So for this game to open up the season in Australia, I will tip the Knights here to win. Knights to win 13 plus. I know, Raiders did okay in the trial and demolished the Eels. I think it was 48-16 or something like that. But that's the trial game. I reckon Knights will be too strong for this one. Scoreline, let's go 30 points to 14. So Knights win by 16. And for a try scorer, first try scorer, let's go Phoenix Crossland. Anytime try scorer, let's go Kalen Ponga. And at anytime try scorer from the Raiders, let's go Jordan Rapana. So Knights to win the first game in Australia. Now we move on to our second game of the 6, kicking off at 6 p.m. Friday night, 8 p.m. over there in New Zealand. It is none other than the New Zealand Warriors, who finished in a preliminary final loss and 4th place against the Cronulla Sharks, who is expected to make the top 8, but I don't think they will finish in the top 8 this year. We have the Warriors and the Sharks taking place at Mount Smart Stadium. I am not calling it Go Media Stadium. It's a ridiculous name. Now, as I just said, Warriors finished in the top 4 last year, making their first finals appearance since 2018, where they finished, I think it was 7th or 8th that year. As for the Sharks, they finished in 6th last year and bowed out in the first week of the finals, losing to the Roosters 13 points to 12 at home. Now, in the past 10 games between these two, the Sharks have won 6 of the past 10. However, the Warriors have won 3 of the past 5, which includes winning the last 2 games, which Warriors won by 2 points with a huge comeback, winning 32-30 at Shark Park last year, and then the Warriors thrashing the Sharks at Mount Smart last year, winning 44 points to 12. And also, the last time the Sharks won in New Zealand was not till 2018, where they beat the Warriors 18 points to 15, and that was also at Mount Smart Stadium, so they have not won there in 6 years. And now we'll go through the team list for both teams. So starting with the Warriors first, we have Joel Nickel-Clockster is injured, so Tani Tupiki is at fullback. DWZ, Daniel Witania Lisiak is your winger, along with Monse Montoya, Rocco Berry, and the returning Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, making his first regular season NRL appearance since towards the end of 2021. Your halves are Luke Metcalf and Sean Johnson. Ava Fanua, Blake and Mitchell Barnett are your props. Wade Egan is your hooker. Your back rowers are Jackson Ford and newest recruit Kurt Capewell from the Broncos, and captain and captain and lock is Tohu Harris. On the bench you have Ferry Lazic, Tom Alloy, Barney Afua, and Dylan Walker is your bench. And the reserves, your 18th man is Adam Pompley, along with Jazz Davida, Tadari Martin, Ali Litia Ula, sorry for the pronunciation, and Jay Lappin for the Warriors. Now for the Sharks, fullback is William Kennedy, Sana Katoa, and Ronaldo Molatello are your wingers. Jesse Ramian and Sophia Talakai are your centers. Braden Trindle and Nicholas Hines, so Nico has been cleared to play. Organ are your halves, Organ Confusi and Royce Hunt are your props. Braden Brayley is the hooker. Britton Nakua and Tate Wilton are your back row. Cameron McInnes is at lock. Interchange, making his first appearance for a long while since his injury last year. Dale Finucane returns on the bench. It's jersey 14. Jack Williams, Toby Rudolph, and Thomas Hazelton are your bench. On the reserves, 18th man is Kei Iro, Tuki Hao Tupia, Daniel Atkinson, Marvin Hawate, and Jaden Beryl are your squad for the Sharks. So not bad for both teams for this game. Obviously, I'll go to Warriors to win this one. I reckon the Warriors will win this one 1-12. I go to Warriors to win by 8. Scoreline will go, let's go 18-10. First try scorer, I will go, let's go in this return game, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. And anytime try scorer will go DWZ. And for the Sharks, anytime try scorer, let's go William Kennedy. Warriors to win. Up the Wars. Sorry guys, and a few things to mention for the Warriors-Sharks game. Warriors have won their past 5 games in a row at Mount Smart Stadium. The Sharks have lost their opening round game 9 of the past 10 seasons. I mean, they lost to the Rabbits last year, for goodness sakes. DWZ has scored 24 tries in his past 19 games. Sharks forward Jack Williams will make his 100th NRL appearance in the match. Congratulations to Jack Williams there. And the Warriors have scored 76 points in home and away wins against the Sharks in 2023. Yes. But yeah, Warriors to win. And now we move on to the next game. The main event, potentially the game of the round. Probably the hardest game to tip out of all the other games. We have the Melbourne Storm, 2 top 4 teams that finished in the top 4 last year. Melbourne Storm against the Penrith Panthers at Amy Park. Now, both teams finished in the top 4 last year. Penrith obviously winning back-to-back minor premierships and 3-peat premiership winners. The first team in the NRL era to win 3 premierships in a row, and the first team to win 3 premierships in a row since the Eels of 1981, 82, and 1983. So it's been just exactly 40 years. That is outstanding. Penrith, they're on another level compared to the other teams. Now, for both teams this year, obviously Penrith want to go for the 4-peat, 4-peat with 4 premierships. The first team to do so since the Dragons of the 50s and the 60s. And as for Melbourne, I mean, this is potentially Craig Bellamy's last year as the head coach for Melbourne. They said it last year, and obviously signed up for another season. But they're expected to finish up there in the top 4 this year. Now, in the past 10 games, another thing I should mention, Melbourne have never lost a round one game under Craig Bellamy. So I believe since 2002 or 2003, they have never lost a round one game. And that is an achievement no one will be able to break for a long time. But can Penrith break it this time? You don't know, but I reckon they could. But anyways, let's go through the past 10 games between these two. Now, shockingly, Melbourne have lost 7 of their past 10 against the Panthers, with which Penrith have won 4 of the past 5 against the Storm. And the last time the Storm beat the Panthers in Melbourne was, get this, in 2017, where they beat the Panthers 28 points to 6 on April 1st of that year. So since then, since 2017, Melbourne have only beaten the Panthers 4 times, and they've beaten them at Bathurst, at Penrith, in Brisbane. I think Penrith twice, and one of them was a game up in Britain when the comp was moved to Queensland in 2021. But wow, I think Melbourne have done their worst against Penrith than any other team. But could Penrith pull it up again? I reckon they could. But anyways, let's go through the team list for both teams. So now we'll start with the Melbourne squad first. At fullback, and in his first game at fullback for a long while, we have Ryan Paffenhauser. Your wingers are Will Warbrick or William Warbrick and Xavier Coates. Your centres are Remner Smith and Nick Meaney. Your halves are Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes. So Munster is being named despite suffering a groin injury. So in the case if he does pull out, most likely I think Jonathan Penson will cover his spot. He's in the reserves, I believe. Yes, he is. We'll get to him in a sec. Chiki Kafa-Kamidfin and Josh King are your forwards. Your props, sorry. Harry Grant is your hooker. Joe Chant, and Elise Katoa are your back row. Trent Liero is at lock. Tyrell Wishart, Christian Welch, Chris Lewis, and Alec McDonald are your bench. And on the reserves, 18th man is the newest player, Sean Bloor. Then you got Kane Bradley, Jonat Peasant might cover in for Munster if he is ruled out for the game. Marion Seve and Savula Falago are your reserves for the Storm. And as for the Panthers, at fullback we have Dylan Edwards. Your wingers are Suva Tuwula and Brian To'o. Your centres are Isaac Tager and Taylor May. Taylor May making his first regular season appearance after suffering an ACL injury at the start of the season last year, so good to see him back. Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary is your captain and your halves Combinations. Moses Leah, Ero and James Fisher-Harris are your props. Luke Summerington is your hooker, so Mitch Kenny is injured at the moment. Luke Garner and Liam Martin are your back row. Isaac Yeo is your lock and co-captain alongside Nathan Cleary. Tyrell Peachy, Lindsay Smith, Liam Henry and Matt Eisenuth are your bench players. And on the reserves, we have Dane Laurie, Sonny Luke, Brad Snyder, Preston Ricky and Marvick Geyer as your reserves for Penrith. And just some stats here. Storm have not lost a round one game since 2001. Sorry, 2001 they haven't lost since. My apologies. Panthers have won only once out of their 8 games at Amy Park. Storm winger Xavier Coates has scored 23 tries in 18 games at Amy Park. Moses Lieto will play his 100th NRL game. Congratulations to Moses Lieto there. Craig Bellamy will surpass Wayne Bennett's record for most consecutive seasons as a coach of a single club, 22. So that's an interesting stat. So when he was at the Broncos, so when Bennett was at the Broncos from 87 or 88 to 2008, and then he went to the Dragons. That's a long time. Wow. So for this game, who do I see winning? It's going to be a tough one, no doubt. But obviously, I know Penrith lost the World Club Challenge in controversial fashion against the Wigan Warriors, 16-12, but I reckon Panthers can pull it off here. I will go Panthers to win by 4 points only. I reckon this will be a good game, potentially match of the round. I'll go scoreline. Let's go 24-20. First try scorer. Let's go Dylan Edwards. Anytime try scorer for Penrith will go... Let's go Nathan Cleary. And for Melbourne, we'll go Xavier Coates as an anytime try scorer. So Panthers to win this game. Now we move on to Super Saturday, where there's only 2 games, one at 5:30 and the other one at 7:35. Obviously, we have no 3 p.m. game due to the Vegas games, and potentially the weather would have been very hot as well if we had a 3 p.m. game. But anyways, the game we are talking about is a very intense rivalry game, arguably the second biggest Sydney rivalry game. It is the Parramatta Eels taking on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs at 5:30 p.m. at CommBank Stadium. Now, both teams missed the top 8 last year due to various reasons. Bulldogs were overhyped as hell last year with all these signings. Now, obviously, it didn't work out. They finished in the bottom 4, once again finishing in 15th, but they had the worst for and against than any other team last year. And amazingly, they did not get the spoon. And as for the Eels, they were 2022 grand finalists. They lost, and they didn't make the top 8 in 2023. There were periods they were in the top 8, and then they fell out within the last few rounds to go. But they are looking to make a comeback and finish in the top 8. And as for the Dogs, with all these newer signings, how can they go this year? Would they be in the bottom 4 again? Could they make the top 8, or will they majorly improve but just miss out? We'll wait and see. But anyways, let's get into the head-to-head. Now, in the past 10 games between these two, Eels have won 8 of the past 10 games, which includes winning 7 of the past 8 and winning 4 of the past 5. Last time the Dogs won against the Eels was back in 2022 on the King's birthday public holiday, winning 34 points to 4, flogging the Eels at Accor Stadium. And also the Bulldogs have not won against the Eels at CommBank Stadium since their inaugural game there against the Eels, winning 12 points to 6. So they played 5 times against each other at CommBank, and Eels have won 4 of the 5 games, with Eels winning 4 in a row. So Dogs have not won at CommBank against the Eels since 2019. So this would be quite a tough game for the Dogs, but you never expect the unexpected. This could be a high-scoring game, a flogging, or a very tight and close game. That's what usually happens between the Eels and Dogs, but recently they've been flogging something. The last time these two had a close game, like by 4 points or less, was back in 2020, where the Eels won 18-16 against the Dogs. And I'm not kidding. So the last 5 games, or 6 games, right? No, yeah, 5 games, they've all been floggings with 13 plus margins. So hopefully this won't happen this time, but it could happen. So anyways, let's go through the team list for both teams, starting off with the Eels first. So at fullback and captain is Clint Gutherson. Your wingers are Bailey Simonson and Sean Russell. Your centres are Will Penasini and newest recruit Morgan Harper. Or co-captain Clint Gutherson, I should say. Sorry, along with someone else. Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses are your halves combinations. Regan Campbell-Gillard and your other co-captain Junior Paulo are your props. Joey Lussick is your hooker, starting hooker. Sean Lane and Bryce Cartwright are your second rowers. Jermaine Hopgood remains as the lock. On the bench, we have Brendan Hands, the other hooker. Ryan Matheson, Joe Hoffer and newest recruit Kaumatua as the bench. On the reserves, 18th man is offering Hiki Ogden, Dejan Arce, Luka Matiti, Makasia Makatoa, and Blaze Talangi are your reserves. And as for the Bulldogs, this is going to be interesting. So fullback is the Rabbitohs, former Rabbitohs player, fullback and half, is Blake Taff. Your wingers are Blake Wilson and Josh Adokar. Your centers are Jacob Carraz and Stephen Crichton, who I believe is the new captain. Your halves combinations are Matt Burton and Drew Hutchinson. Your props are Max King and Posela Falasamalawi. Reid Marnie is your hooker. Viami Kikau and Jacob Preston are your second row. Jamin Salmon is the lock, so interesting. Kurt Mann is your Jersey 14. Samuel Hughes, Josh Curran, and Curtis Moran round up the bench. And on the reserves, which this is a surprise, Bronson Sherry is your, just 19th on here for some reason, or your 18th man. Toby Sexton, Jake Turpin, Connor Tracy, and Katitiana Katuluka, sorry for the pronunciation, are your squads for both teams. And just a couple stats here as well between the two teams. Eels have won 7 of the past 8 against the Bulldogs. Bulldogs have only won 2 of their past 15 games at CommBank. I wonder who the other game was. That is just awful. Clint Gufferson has scored 9 tries in his past 10 games against the Dogs. The Bulldogs have opened with a win only once in the past 7 years. That is not good. And Dylan Brown will make his 100th NRL appearance. So congratulations to Dylan Brown. We've got quite a few achievers here for 100 games tonight. This round. Congratulations. Now for this game, obviously Para are going to be winning this one 13 plus. I reckon Eels will win by 18. Scoreline will go 30 points to 12. First try scorer will go Clint Gufferson. Anytime try scorer will go Dylan Brown. And for Bulldogs, anytime try scorer, I'm going to go Blake Taft for his first game at the Bulldogs. And if you're wondering what happened with Marcus Evo, so he's currently suspended for 3 games for what happened in the trial. So he will not be making his first appearance of 2024 until round 4, I believe. But anyways, Eels did this one 13 plus. Alright, now we move on to the final Super Saturday game, kicking off at 7:35 PM up there at Seabus Super Stadium. It is none other than the Gold Coast Titans taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons. Both teams finished in the bottom 4 last year, finishing in 14th and 16th respectively. Last year, both had very disappointing seasons. One team, the Titans, are looking to improve. Dragons, they got a new coach in Shane Flanagan. Will they be on the up, or will they still finish in the bottom 4, potentially winning the wooden spoon for the first time in their history since 1999? We don't know at this stage, but it looks like it could be that way. Anyways, in the past 10 games between these two, the Dragons have won 6 of the past 10. However, Titans have won 4 of the past 6. With the last time these two playing, last year on April 9th, where Titans won 20 points to 18 against the Dragons. And the last time that the Dragons won on the Gold Coast was back in 2019 against the Titans, where Dragons won 24-16. So Dragons haven't had a good record up on the Gold Coast recently. Well, with that out of the way, let's get through the team list for both of them. So for Titans first, Titans are also without a couple of their players, such as Jaden Campbell and David Fafita. They are both out currently with injuries. They're expected to be back very soon. So anyways, at fullback we have Keeney, Cam Pereira, and Philip Sami are your wingers. Brian Kelly and AJ Brimson are your centres. Kieran Foran and Tanner Boy are your halves. Malik Fuller-Waker and Tino Fuller-Samalawi, the captain, are your props. Chris Brandle is the hooker. Khalees Haas and Bo Fermor making his first regular season game return after suffering an ACL injury last year are your back rowers. Newest recruit from the Broncos, Keeney Palacia is at lock. Sam Farrells is on the bench. Isaac Liu, Aaron Clark, and Jermaine Jolliffe round out your bench. Reserves are Joe Stimson, Jojo Fafita, Jacob Alec, Tom Weaver, and Josiah Perhulu is the Titan squad. For the Dragons, Tyrell Sloan is at fullback. Your wingers are Zach Lomax and Bakali Ravalawa. Moses Silva and Jack Byrne are your centres. Kyle Flanagan and Ben Hunt, the captain, are your halves. Francis Molo and Blake Laurie are your props. Jacob Little is your hooker. Tom Heisenuth and Jaden Sewer are your back row. Jack DeBowen is your lock. On the bench we have Connor Mullen 7, Michael Molo, Fayami Fafita making his NRL debut in this one, and newest recruit from the Bulldogs, Raymond Fatala Marina. He rounds up your bench. And on the reserves we have Ben Murdoch-Masila, Christian Tupulu, Jesse Masrick, Ryan Couchman, and Matthew Feagai round up the Dragon squad. So for this game I think will be the worst game of round 1, to be honest, and I think most of you will agree with it. I will back the Titans for this one only because it's in the Gold Coast. I'll go Titans by 6. It'll be low scoring, like 14-8. I don't expect a good game from this one, unless I'm proven wrong, of course. So Titans to win by 6, 14-8. For a first try scorer, let's go Philip Sami. Anytime try scorer for Titans will go AJ Brimson, and for Dragons, I believe the only try scorer they will get, I reckon Tyrell Sloan at fullback will be the only try scorer for the Dragons. So Titans to win by 6. And a few stats here for the Titans-Dragons game. Titans have won 4 of the past 6 against the Dragons. Dragons have lost their last 4 games at Seabus. Khan Pereira has scored 20 tries in 23 NRL games. Ravalawa has scored 15 tries in his past 12 games. And Isaac Liu will reach the milestone of 250 NRL games if he overcomes injury in time to play against the Dragons. If he does play, which he is on the bench, congratulations. He's had a very long career in the NRL and in rugby league in general. But anyway, yeah, Titans to win by 6. And we move on to the final game of round 1, the opening round. We have a Queensland Derby kicking off at 4 p.m. our time, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Queensland time up at Suncorp Stadium. It is the Dolphins, the first Queensland Derby of this year. The Dolphins taking on the Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium. Now, last year, Cowboys only just missed out making the top 8 after finishing in the top 4 in 2022. They are looking to make a comeback and finish in the top 8 in some way, in some capacity this year. As for the Dolphins, last year was their first ever season. They won their first 3 games in a row. They ended up finishing in 13th. I reckon this season was a success. Can they do the same thing this year? I believe they can, but it's also Bennett's last year as a head coach as we move into 2024. But going off the most recent stats here, there's not really much. This will be only the 3rd game between the Dolphins and the Cowboys. The first game they met, Dolphins won 32-22, and that was up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. And as for the other game, which was at Suncorp as well, Cowboys killed the Dolphins 34-10 in their return game. So it's 1-1 apiece. This will be their third ever game against each other. Now we'll just go through the team list for both teams. Alright, so we'll go through the Dolphins team list first. At fullback, we have the Hammer, Haparai Tapiai Fido. Your wingers are the top point scorer from last year, Jermaine Osako and Jack Boxstock. Your centres are Tessie Newey and the former Broncos player himself, which was a big loss for the Broncos, Herbie Farnworth. Great pick up there for the Dolphins, sorry. Your halves are Cody Nikorima and Sean O'Sullivan. Your props are Captain Jesse Bromwich and Thomas Flegler, also from the Broncos as well. Jeremy Marshall King is your hooker. Felice Kafusi and Colin Lumi your back row. Ray Stone is lock. On the bench we have Josh Kerr, Max Path, Kenny Bromwich and Mark Nichols. In your reserves we have Jared Wallace, Jack Avarillo from the Bulldogs there as well, Oyen Kalise, Ewan Aiken and Isaiah Katoa. That's a surprise. In the reserves. And as for the Cowboys, excuse me, we have fullback Scotty Drinkwater. Your wingers are Kyle Felt and Murray Talangi. Your centres are Valentine Holmes and Zach Labour. Your halves is co-captain Tom Dearden and Chad Townsend. At prop, we have Jordan McLean and Jason Tamalolo. Reece Robson is your hooker and other co-captain. Helium Lukey and Jeremiah Nanai are your back row. Ruben Cotter is at lock. Jake Greenfield, Griffith Neame, Sam McIntyre, and Kuli Fuliaki is your bench. And on the reserves we have Tom Chester, Thomas Mackay, Semi Valamy, Jack Klokowski, and Jake Clifford are the Cowboys lineup. So for this game, who wins this one? This one is also quite another tough game. Yeah, you got the Dolphins. Just in their second year now, can bounce off with the new recruits of Thomas Flegler and Herbie Farnworth. But I reckon the Cowboys can win this one. I reckon Cowboys will just win this one. I'll go Cowboys by 2. Yes, by 2 points. 18-16. Golden point with a 2-point field goal. Let's say 2-point field goal from Tom Dearden. There in the 5-8. For our first try scorer, we'll go Valentine Holmes. Anytime try scorer, we'll go Scotty Drinkwater. And for the Dolphins, for an anytime try scorer, let's go Herbie Farnworth in his first game for the Dolphins. And also, the first bye of 2024 goes to none other than the West Tigers. They will start their campaign next week. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude my round 1, part 2 NRL tips of 2024. I know this video was a bit long, but I'm only doing the team list for this round only, and that's it. I will not be doing the team lists anymore from going forward, as I'm doing my tipping videos on Mondays from now on, from next week. But anyways, if you guys haven't yet, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We are on the road to 1,400 subscribers. If we can reach there by the start of round 3, that would be really appreciated, which that will be not till about March 21st, I believe, because I will be heading down to a few games for round 3. One of them is obviously Rabbits Roosters. I'm not going to mention the other games yet, but I think you guys will know. You guys will find out in the next coming weeks or so. Anyways, if you haven't as well, make sure you join the tipping competition either by my community page on YouTube or in the description box below. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Anyways, see yous. in the next video.